Welcome to You Land Your Bet Sports Betting live stream show. What's good, everybody? And be letting people get into the stream here while we pull some stuff up. Lots to look at because Rudy Gobert doubtful. I don't even think he's questionable anymore, and I still got to wait on that. Obviously, I think a lot of people at this point know he's having a baby, or the woman that he's with is having a baby. I imagine he's not, but either way, he probably is on his way right now, or he's not yet on his way. In which case, we got to know some of that stuff. If Rudy's going to be playing, so we got to see some of that. But I'm going to look at what we can do with the information that we have as of right now, and kind of go from there. But make sure you jump into the comments with y'all's bets as well. I'd be doing that every day, and we'll go through what you guys want to look at. Lots to still probably question here. I've got a couple of things I already put in. What's good, Blossom? We got free sauce in here. We had if you're not on the Discord yet, that's where we've been doing work all day, to be honest with you. There's been a shout out a bunch of people who've been in there with me talking about what's up with what we can do now with what we've got in terms of information. I'm going to be sharing my screen here in a minute and look at what we have so far. While people are still jumping in here and letting us know what's good. Aramis, we got Larry Stone Cold in here. A lot of the usuals. So you guys already know what's up. But on the bottom line right now, we've got the bets that we've already got in here. I put those in a video last night, and if you are not subscribed to the YouTube page yet, highly recommend it so you can get this stuff as soon as it comes out. I wasn't even good last night, to be honest, about putting stuff in the Discord, which I'm ashamed to say. But either way, eventually got it in there, and the people on the Discord get noticed about the videos all the time as well. So get those notifications on if you need them to make sure you don't miss anything. Got a question about the Knicks team total. We'll go over that game first. So I'm going to throw that in here as well for Aramis, and we can talk about that game. Specifically the team total for New York. I've got a bet that I didn't put into the video last night, but have since come around to for Dante DiVincenzo. Also thinking about fading Miles McBride, to be honest, which are both correlated. So I'm going to get into that, and also remind everybody that I'll be using props.cash here in a minute, which is going to have everything we need in one spot. I'm going to be doing some videos to show you guys how to use props.cash a little bit better as well. But that's going to be what I share with my screen here in a minute, so you guys can see how I use that tool, and then all the other tools as well. And they're all in the description of the video with the link. So let me get right into some bets here. The ones that I already put in from last night's video, just to show you what we got. Naz Reid, over 9.5 points. That looks even better right now if Rudy doesn't play, and you need a few more minutes from Naz in there already. What's good, G-Bag? And then we've got some reasoning for that. I mean, it's still just Naz, man. I think his usage is going to continue to be pretty high when he's on the floor. And you've got him playing maybe a few more. I mean, Rudy's not in. You got him playing probably 30. And if Rudy is in, I still think he's at about 25 per game. He saw 23 in this last game. And honestly, can Cat even stay on the floor? Like, does anybody trust Karl-Anthony Towns not to foul every single damn time that he's on defense, guarding somebody like Jokic, by the way, he's probably going to have to guard if there's no Rudy in this one. So that's one thing we'll look at. We're going to look at Jokic's assists as well. I've got that up next on the upcoming stuff here. So we'll take a look at that stuff because of Rudy's absence. And then I had Jaden McDaniels before the Rudy stuff. Once again, if Rudy's out, I think this is a great look for Jaden McDaniels to get his in terms of the rebounds. That's where I'm attacking his stuff. He's over 4.5. I got a plus money. I'm not positive if it's still plus money, to be honest with you, but I think it's still a good bet anywhere right around even money. In fact, you might even be able to get 3.5 boards for him in some places, as that seems to have gone down a little bit. But you can still get plus money on over 4.5. So, shoot, I mean, under or the over on 3.5 boards for him is still good, even if it's not as good of money. So I still like that. But he's going to be in there guarding Jamal, and he did his thing last game. We'll see if Jamal's any healthier. He's listed as questionable, but I'm pretty sure Murray is going to play in this game. And if he is, then Jaden McDaniels' minutes are going to match exactly what we see from Jamal. So I'm going to keep riding with him to do some good stuff. A couple of things that I showed in the video last night include like Jalen Brunson under assists, because of the fact that this Indiana team, this is something we're going to be looking at all series. I'll pull this slide up real quick. Play type stuff. This is really important because Indiana doesn't double team. They don't really try to force the ball out of the pick and roll ball handlers' hands. That's why the points for them are the Pacers are worse at limiting points to ball handlers. They're worse at limiting points to ISO plays, handoff plays. So anytime you have a dude coming off a screen or playing an ISO against the Pacers, they're more likely to score than they are to assist. So we're going to take the under on assists. He did not do this very often against the team this season. 3.5 assists per game, basically, in the 3 games against Indy, all in full minutes. I mean, he was at about 38.5 minutes per game against the Pacers this season. So it's pretty much his minutes that he's getting here in the playoffs. A few more in the playoffs, but not that many more to get him over the 9 assists when he's barely getting 4. Right? He's not even getting 4 in this series against this squad. So we'll continue to believe in that. Pacers limit point guard to the second fewest assists on the season, and they limit assists in general to the fourth fewest. So all of that stuff adds up, but points are a lot likely for him. And so I went ahead and took an SGP for Brunson as well. 25 plus Knicks money line and the under 10.5 assists, which is an alt line on DraftKings. So make sure that you get the 10.5 if you want to add it to this to get the same one. Obviously, you could just do it for better money and take under 8.5. You get better odds on your return there for him. And then another under I took in this game, I took under Josh Hart, which might not be popular to some people. And I see a lot of cappers putting Josh Hart under points on the board. And I get that too. Josh Hart under points is a lot of what I'm talking about here. I don't think he's going to be as good without the spot up stuff, right? And the other thing is this is overblown from the Philly series. Like you look at how good he was against Philly this season. This is way above his averages. The 10 games he played Philly, 43 minutes, and that includes the playoffs. But he had 40 minutes against him in the regular season as well. And then the points per game are at 16, 13 boards, 5 assists. That's all above his season averages. And coming off of those awesome performances, including the last game where he hit that 3, obviously put him ahead to win that series. Like, great, awesome. I love Josh Hart, and I'm going to keep rooting for him as a Knicks fan. But I don't think he's getting 33.5 PRA, and I see this number going down to about 28.5, 29.5 as sort of the average that he'll have for the rest of this series because it's a lot different. You're going to have a lot of dudes coming in for Indy that are a lot better at defending him than the guys that were guarding Josh Hart in the last series, which was like Buddy Hield, Campaign. We had a little bit of Nick Batum, a little bit of Maxey, a little bit of Tobias Harris. Like nobody that I just named is a good matchup for Josh Hart there. And now you got Neesmith, Nembhard, dudes that are a little bit better at picking up those like rebounds that hit the floor. Right, like Josh Hart was getting a lot of rebounds that were just loose balls essentially because everybody on the Knicks was boxing out Joel Embiid and not worrying about the rebound. Well, Josh Hart was like, great, I'll just come in, scoop in, and get these uncontested rebounds after uncontested rebound in that last series. So all of that to say, like I put them all together. I don't think he's going to do all of them to the degree he needs to get over. So I'm good on that stuff. I'm gonna put this bet in here too. Free Sauce talking about the rebounds, and I like maybe assists for Ant in this game. And probably a bit more of a fade on the point, which sounds insane. But that is probably what we're going to see from the Denver Nuggets here is a lot more like blitzing Ant Edwards and not letting him do his thing all the way to the rim the way he was walking into the paint in the last game, right? So I'm going to put Ant in here because I'm still going to look at his – I haven't bet anything for him yet. But I'm going to look at his rebounds and assists. And to be honest, if we were going with the points, that might be a fade once you get up to 29.5 for Ant. Not that he's incapable of it, and I know he's still going to be taking shots, but that's why I haven't gone over. So I'm going to keep adding a couple of y'all's plays in here and keep one of these other plays up for you. Everything that I have is on the bottom line right now, so make sure you check that out. Let me pull this down because you can see the year-to-date. But, yeah, everything I have already is on the bottom line. What we have coming up is going to keep coming up in these banners that I'll pull up for you guys so we can see what we're going to be looking at next. You don't have to add something that's already going to be looked at, right? Let me pull up my screen and start with some of these. I want to get a couple more in here that I saw. We had Steven talking about Obi and Nembhard, so I'll put them in here to kick it off. Obi stuff in here. I know my guy Free Sauce was talking about Obi points because it's Obi trying to show out in the Garden, so we're going to take a look at that. I think that's all probably still sound logic and a little bit of a revenge spot for him, obviously. But look at Nembhard. RA was one thing, too, for Nembhard that could be interesting because of the fact that he's got a really nice hit rate as of late with that. We should look at Hallie. I think Hallie over on the points is the play here. I really do. I think I'm going to get that in. I got a lot of bets for a game one, but I feel pretty good about today. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put Halliburton points in here. Get that up. Let me know what you have too. I've got that in there. Turner, yeah. I mean, I hate betting honor against Miles Turner, to be honest with you. Mitch Rob, yeah. His points line 5-5, yeah. His last. I'm looking at what Drew Billions is saying about Mitch Rob real quick. Is it a trap to take his rebounds? He's hit his line 5 out of 5 in his last 5 against the Pacers. Do you think he's going to get the minutes? Do I think he's going to get the minutes is the question. And that's why I didn't put anything down for him or Hartenstein yet. I'm going to put them both on here for a minute. This might be an area where I'm like, what do we do with this before? I don't know if we need to see a little bit more from this series to know if I'm betting on Hartenstein. I kind of like his assist, but I'll look at him and I'll look at Mitch Rob for a minute. And if I don't have much on the way, I'm not going to spend too much time trying to guess. If I don't know for sure with those dudes, then yeah, I got to keep moving, obviously. Siakam on the boards, and we could look at his assists too. I'm sure we should put Siakam in here, though, because I don't have anything for him. Siakam on there. And then when I add stuff, when I do take a bet that we look at, then I'm going to put I'm going to put that on the bottom line as well. I got Gordon in here so we can look at him. Will Rudy make it back for the game is what we're all waiting to see. If somebody gets information about Rudy at any point in time, please let your boy know. Let's get into some of these bets for this game, though. Hold on. Let me pull up my right slide here. And I will take the quick sec to remind y'all that there's a Discord where we've been going at it all day today as news keeps coming out so we can see what's up. All right, I'm going to add this to the stage. So this is props.cash. This is going to be what I also have a nice little discount for. If you want to use code LYB24, you can get what you need from props.cash that way. Let me see real quick. Let me add one more thing. Very quick. Add this. So, let me get this in here, whatever. All right. So the first one that I'm looking at from this game that we have up, and like I said, please let me know if Rudy's in there because that will be really helpful. I'm going to make this one bigger. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go to this. Let me refresh just to make sure everything's going through 100% correctly on props.cash. I know that. All right. So in looking at this, and let me turn off my background. I don't need that. For what's the first one I have up here? Let me pull that back up. I do have Siakam up here as the first one that we want to look at. So I'll start with Siakam. I know we have a lot of other stuff too, but let me. You know what? And I didn't get to the other bets that I put in as well that I gave out. But I'll talk about that in one sec. So for Siakam, turn on the Knicks game. Pulling up Pascal. Pascal is intriguing to me because I think he's going to see OG on him. And I know some people think maybe we're going to get a few more Precious Achiuwa minutes, but that's really key. Unfortunately, if I go into the box score from this past game that they played, there's really not much precedence to like actually be able to use from their previous games. So I'm actually going to go into the my bad. I'm going to go into the Knicks box scores. I can look at their box score versus the Pacers last game. I'm going to Knicks team page. This is NBA Advanced Stats. I'm going to be using that plenty. I'm going to go into change team stats to box scores. And then I'm going to change this to versus the Pacers. So I'm looking at Indy's box score versus the Knicks this season. And I'm going to go to the last one, which is on February 10th, because that's the only one that had Pascal in it. Problem is, you can see not that many dudes were available. So Taj Gibson, no longer on this team, is going to be the starter in that game, and Precious is the other forward. Now we're going to be seeing OG and obviously Hartenstein start, and then you've got Precious could still get time, but then also obviously Mitrov coming off the bench. I just want to see who is obviously it's not going to help as much, but this is where I would go to matchups and see who was guarding Pascal. I'm going to put him on offense. It was Precious in this game, right, with some Bojan and Josh Hart. That's not going to be what we see for this game, so it's not quite as helpful, which sucks. So the main reason I didn't make a bet on Pascal yet is him versus this team. Even when I look at head-to-head, every game except for this one on the 10th, right, is with the Raptors, not with the Pacers, right? When he go to the Pacers, let me make sure I'm not lying to you right there. Pascal Siakam with Pacers. So this is StatMuse. I'm sure a lot of y'all know it. Let me see game log with Pacers. This is the first game that you played. And I got to go to show more. And that was, it was in the 19th. So he did play this other game with them too. Let me go back real quick because he also played this other one. But I still think we're going to have a lot of dudes missing from the Knicks on February 1st. They had a bunch of injuries. And they pulled this game out. Everybody played, including Pascal. Yeah, you see, it's a little bit closer because this would be OG instead of Precious. But I still think it's going to be Precious on Pascal. I don't think he did well enough for us to be like, yeah, we can go back to that. But if I go to matchups and make Pascal the offensive player, it's still Precious. And this is going to be OG in this game. Now, he kind of handled Precious, to be honest. If Precious was in there more, I would still like him to get his against Precious. 13 shots against him. He liked playing against Precious and pulling up against him. For Pascal, though, it's really like I got to see still, to be honest. For the points, they're a little bit lower than they were in the last one. The rebounds also not too high, right? You can still take him with the minutes that he's getting because he played 31.1 minutes against them last game, 35 in this one where he got 7. So he's probably going to be seeing about 36 to 38 minutes tonight for Pascal. I don't know that there's enough here for me to make a bet on him, to be honest. I don't want to spend too much time because this is one that I'm going to be looking at the matchup to see how he does with OG guarding him or with somebody else that they put on him for the majority of this game. But You got to imagine it's going to be OG. I'm going to get the hand up for Siakam real quick. I'm going to pass on him on anything right now until I know more. Even like looking at the series a minute ago, if I change this to playoff and I look at 23-24, right? Like in the last two, he went under. It's a different team though, obviously, than the Bucks. So it's not going to be the same like matchups. Not going to be the same anything. Not much to be able to use there for Pascal. So pass on him. Move to the next one real quick. Looking at Dante DiVincenzo. So this is kind of what I'm thinking here for Dante and for McBride, right? If I pull them up head to head real quick, let me just do it this way. Dante DiVincenzo. In fact, I'll just use props.cash. So I'm gonna go to Dante real quick and show you his minutes. And they're pretty much the opposite of Deuce McBride. All the way to the bottom. Great. So there's DiVincenzo, and I'm just going to look at the playoffs for him this season, right? So he's in his points, 15.5. He's gone under this in 2 of the 6 games that they played against Philly, right? Now, but you look at the minutes. He played 24.5 in game 1, 37 game 2, and then 48 in the last game here. In between, he was shooting like crap, right? Like, look at the minutes, the games that he played low minutes. All 3 of these right here, he was 29% from 3, 14% from 3. Game 3, he didn't make a 3. Right? He had a 0 3-point percentage before he kind of came back in game 6. And there he went 5 for 9, right, in this last game against Philly. So when he was playing like crap and missed shooting like crap more than anything, he wasn't getting minutes. And then Deuce McBride's minutes, they're going to be complete inverse of Dante, right? So he kind of went up in minutes from game 3 to game 5, 22 minutes, 26 minutes, and 33.5, including that OT game where he played the entirety of the fourth quarter and OT for Deuce McBride. So that helps him get over his point props, right? If I go up to his, I'm on his points. In game 3, he had 8, 13, 14 because of those minutes. In game 1, also 21 points, 28 minutes. So he needs to get 25 plus minutes for us to feel like he could ever get over his props. And I just don't know that's the case. Plus, Deuce is going to be shooting most of his stuff off of the catch and shoot, right? And I know that when I use Props Madness, another tool that's really great, link in the description of the video. I'm going to use this to pull up Miles real quick. And I'm going to look at Miles and his preference of shooting. He's a spot-up shooter. He gets everything off the catch and shoot, right? That's how he scores almost all of his points, or in the transition. And sometimes the ball handler, but that's when he's on the floor without Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is barely going to come off the floor in this series. So considering how much he needs to spot up, and considering how much, while Dante is also a really good spot-up shooter, I'm going to pull him up real quick, right? They're going to have similar stuff here. We all know Dante DiVincenzo is better at getting to the bucket. He's hitting 19% of his shots from right next to the rim. Miles is hitting 22% of his shots. So they're both going to have really similar game logs, but shot charts is what I'm trying to say. But for Dante, I just trust him to get all the way to the basket more than I trust Deuce, which is what it comes down to. So if Deuce isn't even going to get the minutes because Dante's taking all the minutes and the shots that come from that position, then I like Dante DiVincenzo a lot more than I like Deuce McBride here, which is why I think I'm going with the Dante over and McBride under. And damn, I don't mean to make you choose between me and Modai, but yeah, I'm still with it. And I don't think so, we the fifth. I don't think there's any news on Brunson, but if anybody has something, let me pull up my noties real quick, see if I have anything. Nope, nothing yet on Jalen Brunson that tells me anything. So nothing there. But let me keep it moving here. So I think the play here, honestly, one thing I do like, if you want to take a little bit of it, plus 265 right now on DraftKings for a little parlay that involves both these dudes. And I put that together for just like 0.2 units. It was 0.25. But I put DDV over 15.5 points, and I took McBride under 9.5 points. And that gets me plus 265 on DK. I put 0.25 units on it. Come on now. What just happened? There we go. All right, DDV, and that's plus 265, which is going to be 0.25 U on DK. So I got that rolling on the bottom line here. That's just the way I want to play both these dudes. I think they're both going to have a different series than they did last series. So I'm going to keep going with it and see what that does in game 1. But I understand, I bet not might not for everybody. So either way, Keep it moving here. All right. For the next bet we have up, I looked at that here for both these dudes, so that's going to be on the bottom line. We can keep moving on these right now to go into OB real quick. All right, let's look at OB. So the thing about OB is going to be, first thing I want to look at, to be honest with you, is how OB does against this team. So I'm going to go to Courtside Pal. I'm going to pull up OB top in. Courtside Pal is going to be a great tool to see player profile versus team defense as opposed to player position. So first thing for me is points and how well he does against this Knicks squad in terms of shooting, right? So he has a shooting profile and a scoring profile. I turned this to points to see how he does in terms of scoring. And shooting profile, 24th against the Knicks. Scoring profile, 21st. I mean, the Knicks are going to be good against pretty much everybody. So he's not likely to get as many points against them. The rebounds, according to Courtside Pal, for him against New York, that's going to be all the way at 28th because they don't give up rebounds, and it's going to be the same thing for assists. One of, if not the best defense in the league. Definitely the best defense, in my opinion, that's left in the playoffs right now. So this is not going to be helpful for picking stuff for Obi. I didn't know if there was going to be a little bit of an edge there. You pull up, he's at 9.5 points. Something he did a lot against Milwaukee because they were not good at guarding his position. Once you, especially once you had Giannis out, like with Giannis in, a little bit of a different story. During the regular season versus this team, let me take playoffs off. This was against, how many did he play the Knicks? Let me see real quick. I look at head to head. Yeah, he played the Knicks because he got traded early enough that he played the Knicks 3 times here, going 9, 12, and 9. His minutes in those games were at about 20. How many should we project him for in this one, I wonder? Let's pull him back up on the playoffs. His minutes were at also about 19. He averaged the same amount of minutes in this last series that he averaged versus the Knicks in the regular season. He just happened to go off against this squad a lot more. But I don't know that I can just blindly take him. He had some great matchups in that last game, especially once Bobby Portis started. Once Bobby Portis started to play defense on him, then it was a little bit tough to get the Obi Toppin stuff. Like, it was easier for Obi Toppin to score. I'm trying to say at that point. The rebounds were pretty high for him. Let's look at the rebound chances real quick. Rebound chances down here. He had 10-10 in the last 2 games when he went over on his rebounds. We're only at 3.5 though, right? Yeah, 3.5 boards, but it's juiced way to the over. So it's minus 144 for him to get that on most books, and then you can get plus money for him to get 5 boards against the team. That's a little terrifying. If I look at his 3 games against the Knicks, he had 8 in that first one on December, and then that was the game that he did really well, right? He had 9 points, 8 boards. Really not worried about the assist. I think if anything, the PR is a little bit in play here for him if you want to do it over. But I'm passing on Obi until I get a bit more understanding of the rotation from game 1. You know, Pop Bomb, someone we had on the show, really good dude to follow as well, was talking about how he's really mostly focused right now on just like studying the series before he really starts making too many bets. I don't know if he has anything on his card yet because of that very reason. I respect that. You know, and I think I can still make some bets some of these dudes, but some guys are going to be so dependent on minutes that I just got to know what their rotation is going to look like. So I'm going to pass on Obi as well because there's not going to be as much that tells me what I would be looking for against this Knicks squad. His matchup at that point is going to be any one of the, you know, Josh Hart and OG Anunoby kind of players who are going to be really good, bad matchups for him to score, really good matchups to keep him from going over. Do you see that? So I'm going to pass on him for now and see. Yeah, we got Afton here saying Obi is bait, which I fully understand and agree with. Yeah, I think the under on Obi is a better play to start, but once again, this is not enough of an edge for me without the ability to fully like gauge the stuff. Let me just look real quick. During the regular season, let's do last 30 so we know it was at least all with this team. Averaged about 14.4 in 18 minutes. We know he's a spark plug, like you just come in and get it. He went over hella in the last bunch of games against Miami, so from Milwaukee. But I'm going to pass on Obi for now and see what we got. I think bait is a good way to reference him, so I'm with it. What's good, Carlos? Oh, interesting. So Juice is down to 8.5. Gotcha. All right, yeah, that was Juice under. Still help me with the under in that parlay, but keep that in mind. If it's 8.5 everywhere, DK dropped it. You might still be able to get some 9.5. If you want to go under there. All right, let me look at my next dude up. Let's pull this banner up. Passing on Obi. And I'm going to look at Halliburton, and I feel like that's a go for me. So the reasons that I would be a go on Halliburton. let me look at his stuff in this last series. What's interesting to me about the last series, looking up at the points real quick, is that the shots weren't there. They really just seemed like more than anything, the shots weren't there for him. So let me pull up playoffs to just get to this last series from there. And really, he's been going under pretty consistently as of late. But if you look at the 6 games in this playoff series, he only went over 17.5 twice. The minutes were down in a couple games because of blowouts. So you really got to keep that in mind. Like here, he's at 32, 34, 32, right? And he went over, under in those games. So I just want to pull up the game log because I'm pretty sure there were some blowouts here. So we'll do Pacers playoffs this season. All right, come on. Pacers last 16. So StatMuse is going to be like my favorite spot for just quick splits or quick, like, I have a question. Can you just show me a box, like a bunch of box scores that I don't need to dive too deeply into? You just need to see where the blowouts were. So if we look at these last bunch of games, this is like game 6 that they won, blowout. Game 5 that they lost, blowout. And game 4 that they won, pretty much a blowout. Let me go into those game logs of those games a little bit more specifically. Let me go to, what was the last game? All games real quick. I'm going to go into the box score because I do need to see it a little bit more deeply as I'm looking at it. We played on Thursday. When was this series? I think. All right, I'm going to view the series. I'm going to go into game 4 over here. This was the 126-113 game, and that was I'm trying to see in the quarters here. So they were up 5 at the half. They're up 15 going into the 4th, right? How many minutes did Hallie play in the 4th? That's what I'm trusting. I'm going to make this the 4th quarter. And Halliburton in the 4th quarter played 8 minutes, still a good amount. But either way, his minutes were down in these games that were a little bit further apart, right? Even if you go to this 120, 198 game, this was a blowout. And in the 4th quarter, Halliburton played 2 minutes and 40 seconds, right? Everybody else was getting time. He was good. PJ McConnell was cooking. And then they gave some time to Nembhard as well, and that was kind of their guard lineup in that quarter. So my main point is showing you that, and also that was the last game of the series. The game before that was a similar concept. They were getting their butts kicked, and then if you go to 4th quarter stuff for Hallie, 6.5 minutes. Where normally you'd see him at like 10 to 12 if this game was close, right? So that's why his minutes were down, blowouts in those games. If you believe that he's going to be playing a lot closer to like 35. Or like at least 35, probably closer to 37 for Hallie, then there's no reason that he should be getting the 17.5 points. If we look at the regular season real quick, for Halliburton, obviously averaging 19.8 points and had a little bit of a down skid in the last half. So let's look at the last 30 instead of that because of the fact that he obviously got hurt right before the All-Star break. And his numbers were down a little bit for him after that, 16.8 points compared to 20, right? That's part of where this number comes from. In that time frame, 33.4 minutes. But if this game is close, like I got to put him at 38 to 40 minutes. If that's the case, then this is going to be a lot closer to an over than an under. So let's use the last 30 minutes. I'm going to put him into the little bet model that I have here that is available on the Discord channel as well. That's where you can get this with a few directions. The link is in there. It's public for everybody. You can just take this and copy it and then use it for yourself. But using the odds that we have here, that's kind of what I want to focus on for a minute. I want to look at my update. I still don't have any updates. Nobody has anything on Rudy, obviously, but if you do, let me know so we can get on that. So this is going to be what I use when I'm looking at how I can see if the odds are worth it. Essentially, I'm gauging the price here. So minus 120 the over. I can even get a minus 108 on the over, which is which is nice. And then I could also get minus 102 to the under, but that's a lot scarier to me. So what I'm going to do here is put in Hallie. I'm going to make this points. I'm going to make the line 17.5. The under odds are minus 102. The over odds are minus 108 on DraftKings. 8. And then the minutes average here was 33.4. The top average was 16.8. So this, if I put him at 38 minutes tonight, which I think is a fair progression for Halliburton. In fact, I'll even make it a little bit more conservative. I'll make it 36. And now what I want to do is use the implied odds as well. So I'm going to just add the book's probability under, which I need to pull up my odds calculator here, and I use the one that's on Action Network. Also have that in the description of the video. Minus 102 is going to be 51%, and minus 108 is going to be 52%. So the under is going to be 51%, and the over is going to be 52%. There's not much of an edge. I need a 10% edge to go either way with it. So it's also like that's not going to tell me that I should just bet this. What I need to understand is, do I think he's going to be taking any more field goals than the amount that he's been taking? He's at 14. I don't really know enough. I don't hate the overs for Hallie in this game, but this stuff is like, yeah, voice. I got distracted by dad talking about his voice changing, which is just wild. You see it. But yeah, I gotta wait on Halliburton before I feel like I know how many shots he can take. So without an edge based on his averages and what the top is set at, minus 120 is not a good enough price for me to take the over. Even minus 108 isn't a good enough price for me to take the over. I got to pass on that. The assists, I don't need it nearly as much, 9.5, if you think he's going to be playing that many minutes. But yeah, once again, I kind of want to see what he does with the team. If we look at head-to-head versus the squad, he did have that 23 assist game. I don't know if OG was even in that one. I don't think OG was there yet. So I'll put with OG in here. There's no data available. OG was out for a bit as well. But that was going to be the regular season between these two teams was different too. I don't really trust it quite as much. But this is where I would lean before I went over on the points. If you wanted to take Halliburton, all that's to say, like, I got to pass on him for now. I think there's others. First of all, I have a ton of stuff on the card. Second of all, I need to keep moving with a couple of these other bets because we got a lot of questions from this game. Let me look at Nembhard real quick, and then Hartenstein and Mitrov before we move on to Minnesota. All right, we can get a quick music change in here. Let the beat build. All right, we're looking at Nembhard. So the thing for Nembhard is going to be he and Neesmith are going to be guarding Jalen Brunson. Head-to-head this season, he played. Let me do this. 2023 versus New York, 23-24. So he's played him 3 times, 5, 6, and 4 assists, 5, 3, 1 in rebounds, 14, 10, and 7 on the points. I do not like the points part of the series. The thing was, he played 31.3 minutes on average in the 3 games. Did not play much in game 2 here on 1st of February, and then played 34 minutes 9 days later against his team. So if I'm looking at Nembhard versus team, the thing about his matchups is he was guarding Jalen Brunson alongside Aaron Neesmith. Those are going to be the 2 dudes that are kind of going back and forth between him, probably some Josh Hart for Neesmith as well. And he's in there guarding him. So we got to kind of consider that for Nembhard, that like he probably is getting the minutes because they trust him and because he needs to defend. If we look at the playoffs right now, and I'm going to make this 2023, look at the playoffs right here. So in the playoffs, he went over very consistently on the points and the rebounds and the assists. 4 of 6 on the assists, 5 of 6 on the rebounds, and 5 of 6 on the points that he went over versus Milwaukee. Let me look at his stuff real quick. He might be a really good matchup to score and get his stuff against Milwaukee. Not necessarily going to be the case. This is Courtside Pal. Putting Andrew Nembhard in here to see his player profile versus the Knicks defense, and also the Bucks, to be honest. So he was a good shooting profile against the Bucks. Scoring profile, not so much. 4th fewest points there. If we look at the boards, he still got his boards 14th in terms of limiting his rebounds for that team. And then his playmaker stuff against Milwaukee for his dimes. I guess they're really good at limiting stuff to the off-ball guard dimes, right? So 5th fewest to that team. But he still got his against them, in part because he was playing those minutes that we saw. 35 minutes a game in this series against Milwaukee. I think that's probably what you can project him at for this series against the Knicks, with the way he's going to be so important on defense, which is something we always rely on to project minutes, right? What's up, Yehoshua? Yeah, I see you asked about DDV rebounds. I can take a quick look at that too before we get from this game. I didn't add that to my card for him, but worth looking at. I might have should have done that anyway. All right. Finishing up Nembhard, though, for Nemby, I just don't know why I would feel good about him getting stuff here. The assists in this last game, how many potentials was he dishing out? So he got 4 on 7, 5 on 8, 9 on 15. So these are well over 50% of his potential assists turning into regular assists, which is a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But if you put him at 8 to 9 potential assists in this game, it's not a terrible look. But if you would need 5 to get you any kind of money, though. So 5 assists, him needing, or he needs 4, my bad. We're right, but I'm saying 5 because otherwise you got to eat minus 150. There's no way that the potential assist. So on the season for Nembhard, averaged about 4.2. He's playing a really good defense that's going to limit assists. So why would you feel better about over 3.5? I guess he played 25.7 minutes. That's why you would feel a little bit better. But it's minus 150. So even at minus 150, that's not going to be worth it, right? I mean, for him to get 4, the best number you can get is minus 150. For him to get 5, I think the best number you're probably going to get is about plus 20 or so. So that's a difficult. That's more of an under, honestly. For him to get 3 and not 4 for plus 130, that's a little bit more of an under than anything. Let me look at what that says real quick. I'm just looking at Nembhard assists. I got to figure out how to project him though. Nembhard assists. Come on, fat fingers. Assists. Looking at the line, it's 3.5. The line to the under is 130. We said the line to the over is minus 150 is the best number. The minutes average, the season stuff was 25.5, with the prop average at 4.2. Right. So we project his minutes at 35 in this game, which is still high, but I'll put it that high because of his need on defense. The probability to the over goes up. We got to see if it's worth it for the with the juice that we got to eat, right? So minus 150 is going to be 60% implied odds. So there's 60% likelihood of that happening, which is not an edge to the under. To the over at plus 130, that is going to be implied odds of 43%. So 43% is the implied probability that the book is giving the over, which is a huge edge there to the over on his assists. Based on 25.5 minutes, getting 4.2. Yeah, I guess that is how many he got during the season. You got to dumb that down, obviously, because of how good the Knicks are at limiting assists. Everybody, I got Nembhard up right now, and the Knicks are, 19th. They're a little bit worse than most teams, so this could be a good over. I guess I wouldn't play the under even for plus 130. The over is telling you that you have an edge of 83.5%, right? Which I understand, and so it's saying that because you get even at minus 150 for the over, you still get pretty good juice there for him to go over based on that. So that's a better over than an under if you want it for Nembhard on the assist. I'm off of that. Rebounds too seem a little bit dicey. Like we got 3 and 5 and 1. The 5 different teams for the Knicks, nobody in there for them. Then you put a few more guys back on the floor. It's a tough rebound prop. I'm off on Nembhard at this point. Nothing there that gives me a big enough edge. I'll quickly look at DDV to see if the rebounds make any sense, and then the centers, and then we move on to the other game. And I was kind of hoping that by stalling, we might get some news about Rudy, but I still got nothing, right? Yeah. I'm sure somebody in here would tell me if there was. So I'll keep it going and look at DDV on the rebounds real quick. So the thinking on the rebound, I haven't really broken that down in my brain enough to get there with it. Minus 130 for over 3.5, minus 120 over 3.5. I'm not sure what the thought process is on the rebounds for DDV. This season against this team, in the last 3 games, he played a lot of minutes and did not get the rebound. The rebound chances, he had 2 and 3 in the last 2 games against them, and then on 6 and 5 rebound chances. So the rebounds are hard to project for him. His matchup is probably going to, for Dante, going to be somebody like a Nembhard, right? Yeah, so you're going to basically have, trying to put that together in my brain. If you look, I'm pull up the starting lineups real quick. I'll just go to ESPN for that. Depth chart for Pacers. And we've got, so yeah, it's looking like, basically you put Dante on one of Nembhard or Neesmith, and then from there you're wondering, well, where are they going to be on the floor? Neesmith's going to be in the corner. Nembhard's going to be on the wing. Dante getting rebounds seems like a little bit iffy more than anything, to be honest. So I don't know how I feel about that in this one. In this last series, real quick, if I look at the playoffs, is rebounding 4-4-4 all over the place against Philly. Philly seems like somebody he'd be better at getting boards against. We go to courtside talent for DiVincenzo, see what he's like against this Pacers squad real quick. So as somebody who's going to be scoring against them, 5th best scoring profile, shooting profile, 12th best scoring profile against Indy. If we look at the rebounds, not bad. 10th in terms of getting boards against them. Assists probably pretty low. Not that low, 14. I kind of like the assist better for him, honestly, than anything. The rebounds against them, what was that? Did I just say? Against Indy was 10th best. So they're both not bad plays. It's kind of low. The assists are way lower. This season against them, he had, yeah, he got it 2 out of the 3 games. He got over 2.5. On the season, averaging about 2.7. That's in just 29.3 minutes. If he's making shots, I mean, he played the whole damn game last game, right? Um, yeah, he got 7 assists last game in 48 minutes, playing the whole game. And I think that's what they want from him. If he's not missing every single shot and turning the ball over a ton as well. Well, he didn't turn it over that. Then the assists for him in this last series, potentials, 11 in this last one. Didn't have very many when he was playing 2 minutes. He had 11 in a game where he was playing 48 minutes. I prefer the assist for Dante. If you want to see like PA as well for him, I think that's doable if you're going over on that. But the rebounds are a bit of a pass to me, Yoshu. I know you were the one asking about that. So I'm going to pass on DDV rebounds. Let me look at Hart. But I prefer the assist. Let me just close it out with Hartenstein and both of them. Let's see. We got some other stuff coming in real quick from other people. 35 people watching. Yeah, appreciate that, VSH coming in. Yeah, let me get a little light there. All right, let me look at Hartenstein real quick. I don't like Hartenstein points. I prefer the under on that. I think it's that you can still get 10.5 maybe, but yeah, it's going to be bet down to 9.5. I know my co-host on one of my shows, Nate Weitzer, likes over on Hartenstein, but I did not love it, to be honest. I understand that he's decent from where they're trying to score from, including being the roll man, right? The roll man is often going to have a little bit more success against this team. They're terrible at defending the pick and roll as the Pacers. But there's more dudes that can guard a bit better all over the floor. And Hartenstein had that little push shot going because he couldn't get all the way to the rim against Embiid. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I like this. So head-to-head, he had one game he went over this season, only played twice. In the first game, played 33 minutes. Second game, played 35.5. But that was with a bunch of dudes missing, right? So no OG. Let me put OG in here. Put him in. Make sure Josh Hart is in. And Vincenzo. All right. And with those dudes in, yeah, he didn't play this team without all of them. You take Josh Hart out. Vincenzo. Yeah, he never played with all of them against this team. So you can't really gauge that, to be honest. And I think Mitrop was out, obviously. That's when he got these 12 points. Mitrop going to be in. Precious might get some more minutes as well. So, all of that for me is very reluctant to take over on the points. If we look at the boards, yeah, because he got 12 in on 8 field goal attempts against them. In this last series, how many did he take in the last 5? He took 8, 12, 6, 13 shots in 5 in these games. So how many do we project him for? It's hard to project him. It's hard to project both these dudes, to be honest. That's kind of why I was off. Like, I know someone was asking about Mitrop rebounds, and he went over consistently in the last series. And then if we look at head-to-head this season, he actually didn't play them this season. So keep that in mind. Yeah, going over last season and the season before doesn't really make me feel any type of way because he was getting 33, 39, 31, 27 minutes. In this last game versus Philly, he played 18 minutes. Now, granted, he had 9 freaking rebounds in that game. But this feels like a trap too, right? Like Admiral Akbar, it's a trap because of the fact that I don't know what his minutes are. I can't predict that. On the season, he played 36 games because he missed so many. He got 8.4 boards, but he was averaging like a bunch of minutes at the beginning of the season. If I put this up to at least like 30, 25, let's say, these all came at the beginning of the season and the very end, right? All in October, November, and then all the way back out here in February and stuff. So I kind of move. I'm going to wait to see what happens in this game. Like, it might just be that they're splitting time even. It might just be that Hartenstein is a much better option than is Mitrop, so you might be getting more of him. I don't think you're going to just see straight up more of Mitrop because you've got shooters all over the place for Indy in a way that you might not be able to just have him out there. They're going to mismatch him off the floor. Pascal just did that last series where Brook Lopez was guarding him, and then he just took him to school, and that was the problem, right? So if you put Mitrop in there, he's either got to guard Turner all the way out on the three-point line, or he's got to guard Pascal. probably who will pull him out to the three-point line and the extended mid-range. And that's not where he's dangerous. You need him to be as close to the rim as possible to get those boards and those right everything there. So I think they would actually attack him. I actually would prefer an under for Mitch Rob on nothing. So the PR is 11.5. That would be a better play for me since he didn't even play them this season. And I don't know how much they're going to need him in this series compared to how much they wanted him in last series. So I'm going to pass on both these dudes for now. For the other one that was asking me about the Brunson under on the rebounds and assists, yeah, I love the under on his assists to start because I got it for plus money as well. So keep that in mind. But that is, if you're going to take an under on him, I would not be going under on the points yet for JB. I would be going under on assists and or rebounds if that's what you prefer. I look at the head-to-head stuff, 3 games. Rebounds don't really come to him that way. And the assists were way low for him. I talked about that earlier at the top of the video, the live stream here, and I've got that rolling on the bottom line for my under for Jalen Brunson assists. So let me keep it moving into this next game, and I'll add Dom's bet of Justin Holiday. That's an interesting one to me. He played damn near 20 minutes in this last game, which I thought was really interesting. But we got to talk about this game in hypotheticals for a minute because Rudy Gobert is going to be one of the more impactful players on-off stuff because of wins above replacement. And what I mean by that is who's his backup and how impactful is that backup compared to what Rudy does, right? So let me put Holiday, was it 4.5 points real quick? We can take a look at that. But I don't know that we're going to have much data to help us with it. We're going to need to more do that on what we think as a projection without data necessarily. Rox, do you like Turner rebounds over or under? Because I hate touching Miles Turner's props unless you have a good reason for why, like in this matchup, he's going to do one way or the other. So let me know what you think about that while I move on to Denver for a minute. So here's the scoop, bro. Like, is Rudy going to play? Because like I said, when Rudy's not in, love Nas, and Nas will get the start. Nas will play, 30 plus minutes without Rudy, which is great. But is he defense? Like, is he Rudy on defense? Can he rebound like Rudy? Can he get blocks like Rudy? Like, can he do any of that stuff like Rudy? No. And so that's going to be the hugest difference because of how much Minnesota relies on a good defense, obviously, right? So let me start here. Nas is at 10.5 points. I already bet him at over 9.5. For those of you who would ask me, should I take this at over 10.5? Without Rudy, I would still say yes. That's number one. The other thing that I want to look at, and this was a good look as well that we were talking about in the Discord, Jokic assist. Now, he went over to us in this last game by getting a last quarter assist that was just beyond painful because we had him at under 8.5 for plus money. But that said, and Jay Stoll, I don't think so either, but let me know if you have any more info on that. What if Rudy plays and this is all a ploy? It's not a ploy, bro. The books are not in cahoots with the league. Not yet, anyway. Maybe they're in cahoots with Shams Charania, but they're not in cahoots with the actual league yet or like people like Rudy Gobert. Let's just keep that in mind. Oh, it's 4.5 PRA for Justin Holiday? Get the fuck out of here. What? Oh, because he's at half an assist, 1.5 rebounds. So the PR also 4.5, but it's better money. And he doesn't really dime up, so I don't know if there's any reason not to add the assist, to be honest. Like, I would just take the same prop, but get the plus 110 on MGM. Yeah, so that's an MGM bet, right? That's the only place you can probably find it. So that makes sense. Let's see. Got a wise guy in here talking about microphone. I mean, I have a microphone. If it's not working, then that sucks. But anyway, moving past that Holiday stuff is now really intriguing to me, and it's about projecting his minutes. He's got 16.5 last game. In the playoffs, though, it's not like he's like getting hella minutes, right? Let me look at the playoffs real quick. Why would we think he would get minutes? Why did he get minutes in the last game? Was it because Jamal was a little bit hurt too? That's the real question, actually. How often was he on the floor with Jamal? Let me pull up Popcorn Machine real quick. .net. This is a super helpful tool to see these actual the sort of game flow and the rotations and when they come in. So if I look at this last game and go to game flow, this is the last game between these two teams, right? Game 1. And I'm looking at when we had Justin Holiday minutes. So he came in the first quarter at about 5 minutes. Interesting. He played the rest of the quarter in the beginning of the second. So he got some legit, like, first dude off the bench with Reggie Jackson ahead of Christian Brown. ahead of Christian Brown. So for people who were wanting to talk about Christian Brown minutes, this is a really interesting occurrence here. Justin Holiday was trusted off the bench before Christian Brown, I repeat. So why was that? Did they want more shooting because Jamal couldn't really shoot? Did they trust him more at that point? It's tough for me to see. Christian Brown came in the second quarter and played most of his minutes there, and then the beginning of the fourth and end of the third. So he played those, and Justin Holiday, they kind of offshot each other. But then it looks like Justin Holiday's minutes, right, when he came out right here, was the same time that Jamal Murray, no, Murray already came back in. It was for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So, but yeah, so he's on the floor with either KCP or Jamal, and always with Nikola on there, obviously, as well. This was a bad lineup for them to start the second quarter, to be honest with you. So we think he's going to go back to that. And when did he play in the second half? So his second half minutes were low. Yeah, he only played 4 minutes in the second half. That's what scares me about Holiday. It was like, okay, he had minutes in the first, and that makes sense. But they're not going to be close in lineup for Justin Holiday. It looked like he didn't even get in the fourth quarter. Am I looking at the right dude? I'm not. I'm an idiot. He played a little bit in the fourth quarter. It's because the top up is coming up. Hard to freaking follow it. All right, so yeah, this is really, really matchup dependent. But for Holiday, tough. So maybe he's gonna get this every game. Maybe he's gonna get the end of the first and beginning of the second, end of the third and beginning of the fourth, and those will be his minutes. So that would still put him at, what did he have in this last game? I should already have this up. My bad. You go to the last game between these two teams, go to the box score, look at Holiday. Played 19, right? So, 16 and a half minutes. So 16 and a half minutes to get the 4.5 PRA. He only had 3 shots, so it's not like he's necessarily going to be doing that much, obviously. And then they were all from deep. So he needs to hit a 3 to get his points. That's the only place he can score from against this team, especially if Rudy's in. The rebounds are impressive at 5. Do I really want to bank on that? Let me see what his rebound chances were at. You got me really intrigued, though, obviously, by Holiday. So I want to assume he's going to keep playing. 6 rebound chances to pull down 5 boards. You see what I mean? Like, this could be fool's gold. I like where your head's at with it, but I'm off of the Justin Holiday based on 16 minutes is fine. 3 threes is his only shots, not fine. And I just don't know that he's going to keep getting shots out that are inside the 3-point line, because that is not a safe place to score against this squad here. If I pull up Justin Holiday on Props Madness for a minute, this is going to help me see where he's shooting from normally. And it's probably just mostly deep, right? Yeah, so he's shooting some in the corners, but how good are they defending the corner 3? I mean, they're still good at defending all of the threes everywhere in Minnesota. So all his shots are coming from beyond the arc, though, right? Like 60 to 48 plus 23. 61% of his shots are coming. No, 71% of his shots are coming from outside the 3-point line. So 3 of them, hitting 1 of them makes sense. Hitting 2 is going to be like the outlier game. So then you're talking about 1 3 and then 2 rebounds, or 2 rebounds at that point. On 6 rebound chances against this team, I'm going to pass on Holiday just because it's a little bit of a crapshoot. But we'll keep an eye on this. And if this goes up, then I missed out on it. But we'll keep an eye on it. The Joker assist is one thing I wanted to look at real quick, because if Joker is playing versus the T-Wolves and he doesn't have Rudy Gobert in there, they've got a double team. Now, I was happy to go under on the assist versus the T-Wolves because let me see real quick. So I think I still got playoffs up. So this season versus this team obviously didn't do great. If I look at versus Minnesota in 23-24, right now that was his 5th game. That was his first over on the dimes. What was his potentials at real quick? Looks like 12 potentials to get 9 assists. That's still pretty high, man. 75% of his potential assists turning into assists is not a number I want to have to rely on. So the thing here is, if there's no Rudy, and you're talking about Cat guarding him, and now he has to get doubled. Yeah, I agree. I like the look here that you're talking about Dom Deep with Holiday, but it's a matchup to keep in mind. For Nikola assists, I'm not ready to go. I need to know if Rudy's playing. That's the thing about playing this. And that's the same concept with Aaron Gordon. If Aaron Gordon, for his points, if Rudy is in, then I don't like going over on his points. But if Rudy is out, I mean, that was the dude that was guarding him in this last game. If you look at the box score from game 1, we go to matchups, and we can put Aaron Gordon on offense and see who was guarding him. And it was Rudy Gobert all game for 7.5 minutes that he was on offense. that was the dude that was guarding him, right? So that is not helpful if Rudy's in there, because he's going to be really good at defending somebody like Aaron Gordon, who relies on mismatches and strength, but he's not a shooter, to be fair. Like, he's not a good enough shooter for us to be like, well, let's see how he does shooting the rock out there. How many shots did he take from far away? I want to see real quick. For Aaron Gordon, he only took 6 shots, right? Because he doesn't want to pull that 3, and once he gets down low against Rudy, he's in trouble. But if Rudy's not in, then you get a few more minutes for Aaron Gordon, who was also in foul trouble, which contributed to him going well under at 9 points. What was his points drop last game? I'm going to go to Betting Pros real quick, and this is one of my favorite apps to look at what were everybody's previous lines, right? So I want to see what kind of price are we paying for this. If I pull up Gordon, look at his last game, looks like that was 13.5 was the top line too, because they know, right? But it's normally going to be up to about 15.5, 14.5 when he's playing teams that don't have really good matchups for him. But yeah, 13.5 is fair against this team. Problem is going to be when Rudy's guarding him as much as he is, right? And Rudy guarded him a fair amount last game. I believe the whole time he was on the floor on offense, basically Rudy was guarding him. So that's a little bit scary to take it over with Rudy playing. But if Rudy's out, minus 102 for, well, you can still get minus 110 for 12.5. Is that correct? I'm going to make sure this is pulling through correctly on Props.cash. Pulling up Gordon real quick. Yeah, you can still get 12.5. Minus 105 on DraftKings. I think that's a bet with the assumption Rudy's not playing. Anybody got news on Rudy? I'm going back into my updates. I can't get an update on Rudy. Who is following around him to make sure he's playing or not? All right. So if you want to be gutsy with it, then the play here for Aaron Gordon for me is going to be an over based on like matchup that he would have otherwise. And I think it'll be a pretty juicy matchup for him. The rebounds is still, I don't love it, but especially if Rudy is guarding him, then the under on rebounds keeps getting a good look. I know Freestops was talking about that last game, which was a great look. That hit. So nice look there. We had 3 boards in that last game. The Timberwolves were also pretty hot, right? Yeah, they were like 51% from the field and like 43% from deep in this last game. So not a lot of misses to clean up. I see some other bets coming in for that Knicks game too. I can go back. I didn't look at OG, so I'm glad you actually brought him up, Angel. I'm going to put him in here. Angel. I'm going to go back to him, but I passed on Holiday, so we can take him off, and I can put OG in here for us to look at. I love OG, bro. Nick, like, how do you not? So the Aaron Gordon stuff, I think the points are worth a little sprinkle, especially if Jamal's still hurt. And I think we got to go to Jamal unders again. He's listed as questionable. Like, how is he going to be healthy enough to take on one of the best defenders in the league and Jaden McDaniels? I cannot see that happening. So I think I might have to go back to that, which does mean that I like an over more for Aaron Gordon and probably Mike Porter, to be honest, as well. He's still at 17.5, 18.5 on most books. You can get a 17.5 from him. He took a lot of shots last game, right? Like, he took the second most, I believe, on this team. He took 13. Yeah. Oh, Jamal still took 14, but he took the third most. And Jamal, his shots in the second half, as we know, when he started actually cooking, and scored all 17 of his points in that half. So, but yeah, I mean, Jamal can't keep doing what he's doing. Like, maybe we go points, rebounds under. But I think that's the play. Like, I loved it already. And I'll show you what I'm looking at. I know I'm interrupting myself over and over again. I didn't make a call on Aaron Gordon because I'm still scared of Rudy. So I think I'm just going to pass because I already got bets in, and I don't know if Rudy's playing. And if Rudy plays, then that over is going to be shite, like absolute trash against Rudy Gobert. So I'm not taking an over 13.5 with the possibility of Rudy playing. I'm going to pass on that. Watch Rudy playing him 20, but like, it's not a good bet to lead off with. So I'll pass on that for Aaron Gordon. What I do think, and Jokic assists I'm passing on as well because it's the same concept. I don't have the balls, and I already did all this. Cat, I'm not going back to. I know I got Cat listed up here, but Cat, I'm not going back to. Like, I don't think he can stay out of foul trouble. I don't trust him to rebound. He scored a ton of points and not a lot of minutes last game. Let me pull up Cat. He had 20 points against them last game. 30 minutes. That's efficient, really efficient. What did he shoot? He shot here 62% from the floor. I don't want to have to think on that. 62% of the floor. In the last game, he took 19 shots in how many minutes did he play in the first game? 30 minutes. Yeah, he played the same amount of minutes. So in the only other game against him this season, he took 19 shots. Like, he's taking a lot of shots. I get that. But he can't stay on the floor. So I'm passing on Cat. Like, I'm not even betting on that dude, to be honest with you. I thought he might be good for the rebounds last game with Rudy dealing with Joker, and still wasn't the case. It was Jaden McDaniels that got the rebound, who I do have as a bet rolling on the bottom line because I appreciate his ability to get boards. I know you're fucking with me, bro. I know you are. Denver air controller. There's no way. If you have the air control tower in Minnesota and Denver to see where the Rudy Gobert plane is landing, hit me if you have that info. That's fire insider stuff right there. Let me keep it moving with this stuff. Okay, we got to look for Ant, too. I haven't talked about him yet. That's on me. I'm passing on Cat. That is a waste of my damn time to keep talking about him. But I have Ant up now. So how perfect is that? Let's look at Ant. Where are you at? Anthony, Michael, Jordan, Edwards. Poll in the chat here. Like, is Ant going to be the closest thing to Michael that we've seen? I don't know, since I guess Kobe Bean, maybe even more. I don't know. We'll see. Ant Edwards, I would say the answer is yes. If you're asking me, but 40 points for the under now, 29.5 bucks for him to go under 29.5 points for Ant Edwards. I don't hate that. By the way, does this Knicks game start at 7 or 7:30? 7:30, great. So I can keep it going for a little bit after 3:30. So for Ant, the idea here for the assist, right? And was that a call for the over or the under? I want to know. How would you think that might be the intelligent call here? I can tell my shit's slowing down. I would agree that it's more likely that we see Rudy in this game than we don't. To be honest, at this point, it's kind of because everybody's like, "Yo, don't just start like betting on against Rudy being there." Blah blah blah. So I kind of starting to shake in my boots a little bit about that. Even if he is in, though, I don't think that affects Ant too much if we talk about him. What's good, Joe? Good to have you, brother. Rebounds and assists. So the dimes are scary unless they throw the house at him, right? Because it didn't move after he got 3. What were his potentials at? Only 6, right? So 5.5 to the under at -130 might be a better play. Let's look at on the season real quick. On the season, he averaged 5. He went under 63% of the time. And then potential assists on the season. 8.8 potential assists and get 5.2 this year. So he's probably gonna have a higher percentage of his potentials turning into actual assists because of the fact that he's gonna draw double teams and he's gonna have a lot of wide open shooters off of him once he does that. But this is not a number he goes over very often. Obviously, in the playoffs, he did it in 3 of 4 against the Suns, who were just complete poo-poo in that series. This Nuggets team, if they dive at him, then it's a good look to go over on the assist. Those should go up. What did he do during the regular season versus this team? Under pretty consistently, playing 36.5 minutes. You probably put him at 42. I don't think I have the nuts to go over on an assist prop for him. The rebounds I should have played last game. I talked about it in the live stream and during the projections video. But the rebounds, what were his chances at? 9 rebound chances. Let me pull this up on NBA stats real quick and see what his rebound chances were at compared to everybody else on the squad. Because I want to know that. And I also want to look at Ant and how he plays against this team. So I'm going to look at his profile versus Anthony Edwards. Work with me here. So, maybe refresh that. Everything's damn it. All right. Words. Come on, internet. Bro. That's not Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. Go. Looking at, let me. CBS, they put out an article if you're gonna have a baby now or good about betting anything without knowing that stuff. I don't know why you would feel good about Ali. Let me try to close. So I can Ant real quick. Player type versus team rank. Shooting versus Denver. Shooting profile. They're pretty good at they're good at limiting here. assists. I looked at this the other game, but I already forgot. Yeah, supposed to get more assists against them, but and I didn't take the rebounds last game because I just looked at courtside pal and it gave me that. So that makes sense why I was basically pissed in the last game. Oh no, we are not all going in there and IG Rudy Gobert's wife. We're not doing that. But if you do that, let me know if she gave birth yet. Thank you. But I'm not doing that. Let's delete all your search history. Let me see. The only reason I didn't take the rebound, so I distracted myself. I'm going to players inside of NBA Advanced Stats, and I'm going to tracking data, and I'm going to rebounds. I'm going to go to playoffs, and I'm going to go to all teams. I'm going to change to Minnesota, so I'm just looking at Minnesota players, and I'm going to go to just last game, and I'm going to see who had the rebound chances. So yeah, Ant had 9, which was good for third. He got 7 boards on 9 rebound chances. But most of them were not contested. He only had 1 contested rebound. It's contested rebound percentage. So he had 1 rebound that he got for, right? So most of them are not contested because only 1 of his rebounds was contested. So 6 of those were uncontested rebounds where he's going up because Rudy's boxing out the Joker, and we go from there. Damn, it is laggy, fam. My bad. Hopefully it's picking back up, but my internet's been trash lately. No, Naz Reid's not sitting tonight. Look at what we have. We have 2 separate articles. Dane Moore thinks he's going to play, and CBS Sports does not think he's going to play. So do with that what you will, y'all. Man, I'm gonna have to figure something out about this internet. Obviously, the rebound chances at 9. I think that's probably fair. 39 or 42 minutes, 9 rebound chances. Still a lot of easy boards, and now what are the number is at -138. So I don't know if we can do that, to be honest. Let me close this out. This is going to be part of the problem. Come on, man. All right, trying to keep it moving here for y'all. Look at all these conflicting reports. All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, Naz is not sitting. So we don't got to look at that. He's still good to go. Let's see. Yeah. So we got 2 conflicting reports. I'm not going to worry about trying to still guess if we're going to have Naz Reid in there or Rudy Gobert in there or not. So for Ant on the rebounds, I kind of like it if Rudy's not in, and I feel like that probably went down without Rudy. There's going to be a few more available. I don't mind the Naz rebounds. I'm off Ant. To be honest, the only thing I would take for Ant at this point is an under on the points. And that's only because people smarter than me told me that I should, but I still am so scared of Anthony Edwards taking, let's see, he shot 59%. But he took 29 damn shots, man. And so many of them were in the lane as he just waltzed and plied his way into the lane like a ballerina. He didn't even get any resistance at any point until he got all the way to the bucket. That's terrifying. How many free throws did he shoot this last game? He only shot 6. And from deep, he went 3 for 7. I don't know why you wouldn't count on him going 2 to 3 for 7 once more. But like I said, I'm off of that unless you want to take an under on the points. Honestly, that's the only kind of place I'm at with it. So let me see. Yeah, if Naz doesn't have props, who's back, is because they don't know what to do with Rudy either. So if they don't know what to do with Rudy, then they're going to take his props down because Naz is so dependent, is pretty dependent on whether or not Rudy Gobert's in. I would argue take the over for Naz as soon as you can see it, as soon as they put it back up, which I don't think they have since they took it down because of the fact that he's not super dependent. Cat's going to foul a ton no matter what. So you're going to need Naz in there. Plus his hot shooting from the half of the last game probably means he's going to still get some burn. So I got a good amount of bets down already. I hate that during the stream we couldn't get much about Rudy, but I'm going to wait for that Rudy stuff, and then I'm going to be putting bets in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, that's kind of where I'm going to end it. I'll look at OG real quick, and then I'm going to roll out and just remind y'all about the Discord, which the link is in the description of the video. But jump in there because that's where we're going to be talking about this stuff. I know all the homies that are already in, most of them are probably in this this live stream, and then a bunch of them are also going to be in the Discord on the hours leading up to this game. That's going to tipping what, like 3.5 hours or so for the Denver game. So we should know something about Rudy in time to make some bets, but I don't have it here right now. So let me look at OG real quick because that was brought up and I didn't look at him once. And I have some opinions on OG Anunoby. My overarching opinion is he's the fucking man. My other opinions are, is he going to score in this series? I don't know. Let me see. The reason I would say he's going to score, right? And let me look at this real quick. So the thing about OG and pulling up this Knicks game, I'm on propsmadness.com. Shout out Pips. Going to be looking to get him and Prop Bomb back on the show this week at the same time. I love the three-man weave that we'll call it, whatever. I know that's cheesy, but like when we're all together, like you get Prop Bomb with some really good looks. You get Pips, who is just the master of using this tool that he created. This is his website, still in beta, but it's a fire product right now already, and he's still making it better. And so he gives us really good insights into hit rates and stuff like that. And he's also watching a ton of tape. So really excited to bring those dudes back on. But the reason I pulled this up and what I want to show you is this stuff, right? For OG, everybody is a spot up shooter off of Jalen Brunson. That's what it comes down to. If you're on the floor and you're playing with Jalen Brunson, you are a spot up shooter. Same here for Dante DiVincenzo. Same here for Miles McBride, right? All these dudes, spot up, number one. For Josh Hart, spot up, number one, DiVincenzo, and also OG Anunoby. 4 players, all 3 of them on the same starting lineup as Jalen Brunson, all get their stuff off of the spot up because Jalen Brunson is busy crushing these dudes. 36.5 is his points prop now. This is getting insane that we're just going to make it. Like Luka doesn't get point props that high. What is happening? That is insane. Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. If y'all could hit the like button, it's very, very helpful to help the channel. Goes a long way. So, bro. All right. So either way, then my point is, look at this. 30th against the pick and roll ball handler. This man does this as much as Luka. The 2 dudes in the league running the pick and roll as the ball handler more than anybody in the NBA. We got Luka Doncic and we got his former teammate Jalen Brunson, who they decided was not good enough to pay like $15 million a year. Really solid play there, Mark Cuban. You know what you're talking about. So for OG, the scary part would be, well, he scores off spot up, right? And I get that. However, if in the last series, I don't think that was quite as much the case. I'm going to look at players and the tracking play type data. I'm going to go to, I'll start with ISO. I'm going to keep it offensive. I'm going to go to playoffs. So I'm on players, play type, ISO. I'm going to filter this to just the Knicks. So I'm going to go team equals NYK. And Jalen Brunson was the only one running ISO that they actually tracked. That's super annoying. Come on, man. Be better. Transition, I don't care about. Pick and roll, I don't care about. Spot up. Let me do it this way. For the love of Christ. Playoffs, offensive spot up. Filtering this to team equals NYK. So Josh Hart did it the most. OG did it second most. And then Dante. And then Dante and Miles McBride. So Miles McBride needed to do it a little bit more than DiVincenzo. This is in part the reason why I like DDV tonight to go over and Miles McBride to go under. You can see the frequency with which Miles does it. It's 35% of the shots he takes, right, are going to be the spot up here. For Josh Hart, it's the same. For OG, it's still the same. I thought he would be a little bit more in the pull-up range as well because I saw him going one-on-one a lot more in this last series. His matchup in this series is probably going to be Pascal, right, on the starting lineup, which is I think he's quicker than Pascal. He's going to force Pascal to come out. That might be actually why Pascal's a better under, to be honest with you. I got to see the matchup, but that's going to be what I'm looking at is the what I'm going to be looking at is, does OG rely on the spot up to get his points? And does that pull Pascal away from the basket? In fact, I need to write that as in my notes right now before I even forget it. Hold up. We're going to write tracking Pascal rebounds if pulled away from basket and matchup for OG. Does he drive or settle for catch and shoot, right? So is he a spot up shooter who's getting catch and shoot? I need to remind myself of that as I move forward. I can make that call. But yeah, I agree with you that Josh Hart and OG will be on Pascal, but I want to know who's Pascal guarding, because if he's guarding somebody like Josh Hart or OG, then he's probably going to be pulled from the basket a bit more, which means he's probably not going to get as many boards. I don't know about the points. That's a separate conversation, but his matchup on defense is really helpful to know about the boards, because if he's further away from the basket, then I prefer an under for his rebounds right there. So let's see. Yeah. NBA. I know you asked about the Brunson under RA. I like the assists so much that if you want to add the rebounds to it, I have no problem with it. I already played the assists, so that's what's scrolling on the bottom line, my G. But whatever you want to do with the rebounds, is if you want to add it, I don't hate it at all. So finishing up the point here for OG, if he's on Pascal, then he's more likely to get boards because Pascal is going to try to take him down low. So I like that look for OG rebounds. Let me pull him up real quick on the boards. Oh, I have him up right now. So boards for him at 5.5. This doesn't matter right here. This is all on Toronto, and this is last season, and I don't care about any of that stuff. So looking at the playoffs, obviously when he played against Joel, right? This is the game when he went over on rebounds, he started guarding Joel. That was the key, was that he was the dude guarding Joel, and then they had the center for the Knicks behind him to kind of come back and help him and get his. But real quick, college makes you dumber. Just for the point, you're 100% right. He plays in transition and he spots up. But what I'm saying is last series, it did seem like he was going one-on-one to the bucket off the dribble a little bit more than he was in this game. So I think he's going to drive to the hoop a bit more than he did in this last series, because of the fact that he's going to have a dude that is slower than he is in Pascal, who's probably guarding him, especially to start the game. But we got to see what those matchups look like. So I'm going to pass on the points for OG right now, although I would lean under before I kind of like the under. Minus 118 on the under, barely going over this, but he is going to rely on that spot up a lot. You're right. And once he drives to the rim, then he's not hitting threes. His field goal attempts in this last series, 10, 10, 11, 16, 12, 17. So he got more confident in the last 3 games, obviously. I think you probably still put him at about 12 shots. So 12 shots to get 17 points means he needs to hit a lot of those shots. If you put him at 12 shots, then yeah, he needs to hit a lot of those. 3-point attempts. So he went 2 for 5 in the last 2 games. That helped him get over. Took a lot of shots close to the bucket, though, right? That's what we saw. But I don't know if he's going to get those in this series with the matchup. I kind of like the under on OG points now. I think that's a better look than the over on the rebounds, even though I like the idea of him getting boards because he's going to be guarding Pascal down low. I think that's a good look on the under points. Yeah, let me put him in courtside pal, see if that validates what I'm saying for myself. So OG and a no beat, putting him in real quick. Points against this squad. Ooh, second. That's for his shooting profile. For his scoring profile, it's a little bit different. And that's really just where is he shooting from versus where is he scoring from. So I think scorer is always the one that you want to pay a little bit more attention to. And that would be 23rd. As far as rebounding goes, yeah, he's gonna be a good rebounder. I think the rebounds is still a good play if you play that over. It's at 6.5 now, though. So you got to play a pretty heavy premium for that. If you look at his rebounds on the regular season, 7. This is playoffs, though. 4.5. That's a little bit scarier, right? Even if I look at the last 30 when he was with this team, not what he was called upon to do. So I think the rebounds are okay. I still need to see how that matchup shakes up for him, to be honest with you, before I feel comfortable either way on OG and Anunoby. For the rebounds. For the points, I like an under. Minus 118. What was he on the season? Or let's see, last 30 of the team was 14.2. I know he went over in 3, but of the 6 games, but that's 50%. Butted up against it in these last bunch of games. I think that's a good look. I mean, I think he's projected to take 12 shots. And if you project him for 12 shots, then he's going to need to hit like 3 threes to get to 9. And then he still needs 8 points, which means you'd have to go 4 for 9 or 4 for 8. 4 for 8 from the field outside of the threes. If he hits 3 threes, and that's a lot. What's his 3-point prop at? 1.5. Juice down, but like they're saying he's going to hit 2, maybe 3 threes if you want the juice. So yeah, the points is an under for me for OG at minus 118. That is the play. And I'm not giving out the points bet number there. Yeah, we're going. Yeah, that shit ain't happening. Sorry, OG. You are AG. But nah, that's too high. So OG under 16.5 points. Yo, I feel good enough to give that the full unit. It's minus 118. Is that FanDuel? My bad. FanDuel is 118. Yeah, minus 118 off FanDuel. I like that number. Minus 118 FD. I'm putting a unit on that, and that's going on the card. Yeah, so we got a pretty robust card at this point. I'm going to go walk this dog and then watch this game. Jump into Discord because that is where you can get the as we keep going with this stuff. This is where I'll be talking about with everybody. What do you think about? I took under on McBride. That's on the bottom line, Benjamin Miller. Sorry to ADD myself again. I love the confidence of fading OG from U College makes you dumber. That's hilarious. Yeah, we got under on Jay Hart already as well, just to confirm some of these for y'all. The bottom line has everything. I'm gonna also be putting up the added bets on Discord. I'm gonna put the link, the pinned comment on this video on YouTube for this live stream is going to have all of the bets listed as well, including the ones that we added right here. So you want to check that out. The Discord, as I said, is going to be where I'm talking to everybody about what we have going on the rest of today. So I'm going to call it there for now because we got stuff to do. It sucks that we're peaking with the most viewers that we've had all show as the game is going to kick off in 30 minutes. Maybe there's some Rudy news that I can use. What do you guys think? Nope, still no Rudy news. Come on, man. Still no Rudy news. So yeah, we're gonna have to do this in the Discord. So jump in there if you're not in there. Let's keep the conversation going in there because that's gonna be once I have that news, I know what I can go with. And for those of y'all that are not in the Discord and don't want to be, the last thing I'll tell you is if you are gonna look at this, what happens to Rudy and then make a bet. This is what I would say. If Rudy's in, then we can kind of go back to some of the similar stuff we looked at last game. If Rudy is out, Jokic assists, I'm going over. Aaron Gordon points, I'm going over. I'm gonna put this into the Discord as well. And everything else is I'm pretty good with. I also didn't put the Jamal Murray under in there, did I? And I liked it last game, and I don't know if anything's changed with his health, so I could probably just go back to it this game for PRA. All right, now I am going to come back to this. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to look at one more thing. Hopefully y'all didn't dip. Pascal, I'm waiting to look at, by the way. So if you didn't see earlier, what I was talking about with Pascal is I need to see what's going to happen to him real quick in terms of his matchups and everything, and then I can kind of figure it out from there. But now I got to look back at what I was talking about a second ago. Let me look at Jamal Murray on the PRA right quick, and then we'll dip. And like I said, I'll be in the Discord so that we can chat through some more stuff. But why wouldn't I take this? Like I took it last game. It only dropped 2. I took it at under 34.5 PRA for Murray. It's now at 32.5 PRA, and I still get minus 102 to the under. I gotta sprinkle on that. Like I know he can go off at any minute, but he's been hurt. He can't do all 3 things if he's hurt. He's got Jaden McDaniels on him. He has not gone over versus Jaden McDaniels in forever. I'll show you what I mean. I've got Jamal Murray's stats up, and I'm going to put Jaden McDaniels in. So it's all the games that he actually played. And the points he goes clean the under, the rebounds he's gone under, the assists he went over once, the PRA, he went over twice in the last 6. Yeah, twice in the last 6, and it's actually twice in the last 7 if you go back one more game here. So this is all consistent with what I think is going to happen in this one. 32.5 PRA, I think, is the play here for Jamal. Yeah, he could bounce back tonight. It's a good point. He could. All right, I'm gonna decide in the Discord if I'm playing Jamal PRA. I'm gonna poll my people and kind of go from there. All right, tomorrow we're gonna be back at the same time. I'm gonna go knock on the door of my internet provider and be like, "Yo, you got to figure your shit out because you had a whole outage the other day, and now you're making my live stream suck. So this cannot be maintained." But yeah, the link to every tool that I was using is going to be in the description of the video on YouTube. Everything else, which I always say, and then in the Discord, if you jump in there, you get all the bets early. Plus, you get some conversation with me directly and all the really smart people that are in here helping me out as well. So appreciate you guys. Tune back in tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to get some guests on this week. Gamble responsibly, as always. Go Knicks. Until I see you next, happy betting.